Now, John Carpenter knows he made a banger when he did this film back in 1982. And some 40 plus years later, The Thing still holds up as one of the best horror movies ever made. Now, granted, it is a remake of a black and white horror movie for the 1950s called The Thing from Outer Space. But believe me when I tell you, that movie doesn't hold a candle to this because, wow. I remember watching this on HBO when I was little. And when I tell you that this movie scared the bejesus out of me, that I actually thought there was a parasitic alien out there for real lurking somewhere, let's just say that I had nightmares and I had to sleep with my teddy bear Fuzzy at night. Now, when the movie starts off, you see this helicopter chasing after this dog trying to kill this dog. And you're like, man, why do they want to kill this poor animal for? What does the animal do to them? But of course, helicopter crashes, and our main character is a group of scientists that's out here in the cold, harsh, in Norway now. And you have to ask yourself, man, they have a lab all the way out there, but whatever, the plot hasn't happened. They take this dog in. But that's one of the biggest mistakes of all their lives because this dog actually has a murderous parasitic alien inside of it. And when it gets loose, it takes the form of anyone that it infects. Now, you have these scientists ready to kill each other because nothing is more scarier than the fear of the unknown. Who can you trust? Who's infected? And how we're going to deal with this. And when you get to the end of the film, well, our last two main characters surviving, Kurt Russell and Keith David, well, you see them freezing their butts off at the end because one of them can be affected. And instead of risking going back home, they decide to freeze to death just in case. And the movie ends on a cliffhanger of, oh wow, are they infected? Did they kill it? Who knows? Now, like I said, some 40 plus years later, this film still holds up as one of the best horror movies ever made. All right? Not only that, this movie was made at a time where you had to use practical effects and puppetry to emphasize on the horror of the film. And looking at the body horror and everything going on, I go, hey, the human body isn't supposed to break and twist that way. And damn it, John Carpenter and the cast and crew, they really brought it with this film. And speaking of the practical effects, it's movies like this that make me say that I am a bigger fan of practicality than today's CGI-fueled films that come out. Because when you see a horror movie with CGI in it, it looks too cartoonish and the monsters look too fluffy and too, like I said, cartoonish. And they don't look scary at all. But with practical effects, it really emphasizes on the horror element of this film. And the tagline on the poster, when they said this is the ultimate in alien terror, next to the first two Aliens films, they sure as hell wasn't lying. And for anyone that hasn't seen The Thing, whether you've seen it for the first time or you haven't seen it at all, excuse me, what are you waiting for? This movie is definitely a classic horror masterpiece. Just my thoughts, just my opinion, and as always, just saying.